like a daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
I just was looking at the news. The FAA is closing El Paso for 10 days. Rumor mill in Option Omega land. So someone was messaging me saying, "What's the play for that? Is that alien disclosure?
Oh,
Is that cartel?" Shout out Romeo. I'll do my research. We'll get you the answer you need.
Troy, we love a good conspiracy theory here. We love one.
Well, almost every conspiracy theory since over the last 10 years, except flat Earth, has proven to be true.
Has it?
So I feel bad for the flat earthers, because really, like, every conspiracy theory gets a grain of truth, and they're just the one group that just can't win.
They're a patient bunch. They're just going to keep biding their time.
Yeah,
it's true.
Until something flattens the earth. And then...
until something flattens. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys have heard of a stock substitute. We have a content substitute. Rusty's here today. Matt's doing some stuff.
Yeah, I am a poor man's Matt. That's for sure.
No.
I like where you're going with this.
Like most substitutes in school, those are the best days ever. You try to bully them. You try to get them to let you watch TV during class. You try to do all those things. And that's what I look forward to doing over the next 45 minutes for Rusty. But before we begin, Rusty, we had a big push last night. We had a release. Yeah. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So I did some small updates to the processing. Is that what the one you want, right? Where it does the auto retry if the data. No, just kidding. That did happen. I don't push the release notes for those kinds of things, by the way. The big release was, we are adding more tickers, and the first one is Microsoft. And I use the plural on purpose there. This is the first. We're excited about it. We want to get, as many of highly liquid tickers as we can into the system. I think there's a lot of value there. So yeah, started with Microsoft, old tried and true, right? It's had some rocky times recently, so it should make for some spicy back tests with the dump off in the last 6 months. But yeah.
Well, and what you're in to me, when people ask, other than SPX and SPY and some of these, which one should I trade? I said, you need to stay in extremely liquid stocks. And I would love to see, I know Matt was talking a little bit about this, the statistics. If you took the top 8 or 9, your FANGs and your GLD and some of those, I bet you there's a big, excuse the expression, gulf divide between, if you look at the average daily volumes, I mean, and that's what people need to be in, because, I'm comfortable. If you said to me, would you trade Microsoft? Absolutely. Right. It's just because it's got the liquidity. Now, it's not going to be as rock and roll as Tesla or Nvidia, but that's okay too. Right. Yeah. You can have a divergent, might be nice for calendars and that type of thing, but I'm excited to see, because, you want to be in the really liquid ones. Right. And you know what? And that's what people are trading. I can't, not that they're going to trade the volume SPX is, but GLD, and they're really soaring. And I think, and isn't the other thing, Rusty, like, was it last week that Microsoft and some of these stocks, now they have 3 expirations a week? Didn't that just start?
That's right. They've added a lot more. I don't remember exactly the date on when that happened, but it was recent, last week or two. And that was part of the impetus for this. It gets a lot more interesting backtesting something that is more than just 1 day a week, right? And so we thought, well, back in time, you're going to be limited, but on a go forward basis, with the volume being high and being highly liquid and 3 days a week, you've got a lot more interesting plays.
Yeah,
so,
and the liquidity should be phenomenal in Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I'm not worried about it. I mean, the gold. I've been trading gold this year a little bit, and just partly just the vol. I mean, you get when liquid symbols have vol events, it's so much fun to trade. And like I was talking to Matt and Brian, shout out Brian. We were talking that day silver was down like 30% or something. I was just slinging DCs all day, like every 30 minutes. I mean, Rusty, I would put DCs on and get like 20% in 2 minutes.
Wow. That's
like
crazy.
All day, just flipping them all day, just over and over and over again.
It was liquid, you were getting decent prices near mid.
Decent prices. Now, what's funny about this, also about markets that are moving fast, Matt did not get the same good prices I did. He would enter in and like get a worse price, and like, so that's the whole point of it. Is you know, when it's the Wild West, it's the Wild West.
When you say, Troy, that, I mean, what I found with liquidity is sometimes people get confused, right? In other words, if you take they say, well, the market's too crazy, I'm not going to get good fills. Not true, right? Let's take an example. Let's say NVIDIA is tanking, right? And it's tanking, people going crazy. If I go in to buy puts, if I go in to sell puts as it's tanking, the market makers would hug me. In other words, I could get filled whatever price in the middle or whatever, because if the market's going down at the time I put my order in and I'm selling a put, I'm giving them fuel. Market makers they're hedging everything. So if I come in with an order to sell a put, because if the market's going down, the market makers are getting more people buying puts. And they're like, I just sold 500 short puts. I need some long puts. So you come in to sell a put as the market's going down. So I think to me, the lesson for people is when you go in with your order, try to go in when at least a little bit going in your favor. It's like trying to sell a put credit spread just as the market's turned and is going up.
Yeah.
It'd be like, they're not giving me mid price. Well, try the other way. If the market's going up, buy a put spread. You'll get good so it's not, people think, well, the market's going crazy, bad execution. No, it depends on, you just have to be more sensitive than when the market isn't going crazy, what you're doing. Remember, the market makers, when I was down there in the pit, the market's going down, all they're doing is selling puts, right? I mean, all they're doing is buying puts. Well, we need that, right, market makers, because we need to hedge this stuff, right? And so if somebody comes in and the market's dropping to actually sell a put to give us long puts, we're like, name a price. So I think that's where people get confused, because most of the time when people say get bad execution, it's going against the flow. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think a little bit of.
Well, people also don't, I mean, we're going on a little bit of a tangent, but I think I want to acknowledge this first before I go on my little tangent. Tom, that's I will create a course on Academy, trading MEST, multiple entry silver spreads. I think that's a great.
You can find a way to put hot in there. I want a hot mess.
Oh yeah, high, often frequency, multiple entry silver spreads. Yeah. I'm not good at words, but listen,
words are tough.
Words are tough sometimes. I mean, we get people all the time asking questions about like, was the data correct on this day? This seems egregious. It's an auction, man. Like this is an auction, and sometimes there's certain days where the auction gets a little nuts. You know what I'm saying? I always want to talk like Macho Man when I get passionate about this, but like sometimes I can't do it. I'm going to do a Macho Man before the show's over, but like
you do a good one. I'll be honest with you.
I know. Yeah.
But the other thing is,
sometimes you just got to go. I can't do it. I'm going to get it before the day's over.
You're almost. But in the other thing, like with people, also, I think it's recognizing your trade. Let's say you have a call butterfly, and recently, up until yesterday, the market's been going up some. So let's say, you put a butterfly on last week, some type of balanced butterfly, broken wing, and you put it at the money. When we go up, let's say you do it in the calls, we go up 150 points, and you notice now the mid prices are all over the map. You're thinking, oh, this is crazy. Well, why are the mid prices all over the map? Well, because your long is not, you have options that are very deep in the money. And when there's options that are deep in the money, the market makers just go do this today. That's why I think iron butterflies, a lot of times it's one extra leg, are better than call or put butterflies, because you're dealing with more out of the money options. Out of the money options, your bid ask is going to be lower. If you go in the money, your bid ask is like this. So that's why when people will say, I'm not trading this, I say, why? They say, look at them. It's just $3 wide. Well, because you're dealing within the money, right? Doesn't mean it's bad, but you have to look at it. Whereas if you look at an iron butterfly compared to a call or put today, the mid price will be very stable in that iron butterfly, because you're dealing mostly with out of the money options, at least
exactly.
So I think it's just getting that information, and you could see, okay, if the market's this wide on the in the money options, well, of course your bid ask it's going to force that spread to swing around. So I think it's just, the more you understand that, the less stressed you'll be, because I get people, and I feel bad for them. It's just, and I used to do this all the time. You'd have a spread on and you're watching the P&L every tick. And I said, new rule, you can't watch the P&L. As long as it's in the graph or where you want it to go, you'll go out of your mind. I'm down 10%, I'm up 15%, I'm down 20%. And the market's really not, just that bid ask thing. So, I mean,
listen, that whole thing you just said is one of the first things I think of backtesting you figure out. And again, you don't solve it by trying to figure out backtesting. You solve it by just looking at an option chain. Because people, one of the earliest tests, there's a progression of people, and I've done it certainly. Hey, I've found this 90 delta SPX 120-day put calendar that's way above. You just flip it, the call side. So now instead of and I get 10% profit every time. It's like a 99% winner.
I know.
And you're like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's the spread's a little. That's a little.
Here we go.
I'm gonna get it. We're getting there. I'm gravelly, but anyway.
Hey Troy, could we get a quick question for Rusty? How did you make I think it's a great picking Microsoft. What was the thinking involved to come out of the gates with Microsoft versus NVIDIA or something like that?
Well, I think
the Epstein files.
Wow, that was Troy.
Wow, Troy had that. He woke up with that joke on his mind.
Wow, that was awesome. Wow.
It goes back to the tinfoil hat.
Wow.
So I think I looked at the Mag 7, right, and the fact that they're getting these 3-day a week expirations, and when you think of Microsoft, it's been really stable for a long time. So the data goes back to 2013. So NVIDIA, which we're going to do, right, it's not been as liquid until more recently.
That's
right? With Bitcoin, with all the coin stuff, the crypto stuff taking off, that got it some more volume. And then of course now with AI, since late 2021, 2022, whenever that ChatGPT 1.0 released. And so Microsoft has been around for a hot minute. It's been liquid for a while, and it's been stable. It hasn't had any splits since that whole time. It has, it's just kind of rock solid. And so if you're looking for a nice, solid range bound, which we're mostly range bound traders here, right? Most people, they're either selling premium, expecting for, range bound like condors, or you're doing double calendars, or you're doing iron flies like you're talking about. So the point is, I think it'll have some interesting stuff there. I'd like to look at some of the stuff that Troy's done a number of trades on the Qs. I don't know what's happening now. We're getting a close up of his neck hair.
I know.
Really excited. Is he on a scooter?
That's what
I can't tell. Yeah. Did you steal someone's electric chair? What's going on with this?
Troy, you want to bring us into your world here?
I don't know. Someone gave him some mushrooms, and I think he's floating around.
It's like a psychedelic experience.
It's really
and Microsoft I think people are familiar with it, comfortable with it, and the liquidity is going to be very, very good. He's having way too much fun, Rusty. Look at he's like Oh my goodness.
That's getting to be on the inside of the cigar club right there.
Wow.
You're outside like a peasant, and the worker comes, and the worker says, "Come on in, bud."
Oh,
That's
this is
what it
opening. Now, is this pre-opening like Costco? You're a special member. You get in like a half hour before the regulars, or?
Well, they're not open yet, so they don't open till 10.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you're in well before.
Well before. Shout out the members. So,
yeah.
Listen, let's look at some. Rusty, you were talking about cues.
Yeah. So I remember, you've traded in the past quite often like a 14-28 double counter on the cues, have you not?
Well, yeah, one of the one in the small account challenge is cues, I believe.
So given the fact that, listen, it's only had weekly expirations for most of the time, I think you could still run a back test though back to last few years or even the last year on like a 14-28 on Friday, right? You have to do a Friday entry. So, and if you wanted to smooth it out, you could do a multi-entry, right? You could do like a morning, afternoon, evening, 14-28 with some, I don't know. We'll let Dan pick the deltas. As a good starting point, I would do somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive.
Maybe since stonks tend to go up, maybe give it a little more room to run on the upsides. You want to skew it, that's what I would say.
I'll be your guys' butler. You tell me where you want to go, and we'll go there. So.
Well, if you've got okay, so you've got it. There you go. You got Microsoft. You got 20 delta both sides. What do you think, Dan? Should we make it more like add a few deltas to the put and just to skew it?
I agree. Like 25, are you thinking? Or?
I like it. Let's start with 25. Yeah. I would take it down to a 10% allocation. Right. I like to see that with the curve. Okay, so. And then do me a favor, just because I don't know the optimal time and I don't like overfitting, try a few times, like take 9:45. And I would even change that to like 9:50 because sometimes you've got news events in the morning at 9:45 on a Friday. Right. So hit additional entry time. Is someone playing cymbals in the background, Troy?
Oh, yeah.
There's some kind of musical device in the background. And then I don't know, what do you think? A midday entry? What's a good time in the middle of the day? We thinking 11:30?
11:30 or so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then maybe like a 3 p.m., right? Right. Something like that. Not trying to overfit.
Do you bring in, Rusty, we were talking yesterday in the in the morning.
Yeah.
I love that new feature for range-bound traders, the NORB.
The NORB is an interesting one, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know if we bring that in right here to see if it's a range-bound day, but
that's an interesting. I don't know if that'll
impact. Do that tomorrow on Friday.
I don't know if it'll impact. I agree.
Something this far out in time, but that's a good question. So let's do this. Make the frequency Fridays, because I don't want to get some weird holiday, expiration thing.
Let me ask you real quick here, Rusty. On Friday, just for people out there, what is the thinking as far as entering this trade? So you're entering on one day, Friday, versus like Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday. What's the thinking?
Well, so this one, since it's a 14-28.
Oh yeah, 14-28. Right.
And prior, we only had expirations on Fridays, and so to get that exact DTE, to get that kind of, you're going to have to enter on a Friday, and then expires 2 Fridays from now and 4 Fridays from now in the longs, and so you're just playing Friday. You only have Fridays to play with before a couple weeks ago, for a week or so ago.
Good point.
So that's just sort of the thinking. Troy, do me a favor. Now that we're doing 3 entries, scroll back to the top. This is an important point. So this would enter 30% of your capital every Friday, which is too much. So just do like 3% or something like that. Yeah, just there you go. That's a nice. Okay. And then what I would say is you're going to want some fees and commissions, right? So just put $1 on entry. You could do the tasty way, and there you go. And I don't know what good slippage on Microsoft is. You scroll down a little bit. Our heads are blocking it. Or is that as far as it goes? 4 cents is excessive.
It's excessive. It's excessive.
Yes.
Let's start with 2.
I channeled. See, this is why I love Matt. Let's start with 2. I always hear Matt in my head.
No. That's the equivalent of like 20 cents on SPX or something. I mean, that's
I know.
Let me ask you on commissions. You got $1.12. Obviously, stocks are going to be probably half the commission of SPX.
So this is like Tasty's fees is what he's using here.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I got you.
Because they've got $1 on it open on the commission and nothing on close, but you got your fees, which is the 12 cents.
I got you. Makes sense.
CBOE and everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say, I don't know. Do we got anything else? I'd say we ship it. This is the basic test, right?
Yeah.
This might be terrible. we have no idea. This might be. Yeah, look at that.
Great job, Rusty. Good job, bud.
So how many? First of all, I don't even know 3%. Like, go look at the how much do these things cost? It's Microsoft, so it can't be that expensive, right?
No, it's like 400,
like,
isn't it, or 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Well, also, I only ran it the last 90 days. So hold on for a second.
Oh, you didn't go. Okay.
Yeah, let's take it back for a second. Listen,
turns out range bound on Microsoft when it's dumping 10% was probably not a good trade last time.
Yeah, the last 3 months have not been good for Microsoft.
Well, one thing that's
wait, you don't have early exit on there? You don't have a Delta exit?
No, I don't have anything on it. Just
I thought we. Okay, you started from scratch.
I start from scratch.
Naked as babies behind here with this test.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, well, really not a naked baby or anything like that. My dog got sprayed by a skunk last night.
Oh my goodness!
And
yeah, how traumatic that is.
That poor dog. I mean, the whole house. I mean, that's why I had to get out this morning because I was like, I literally can't work in this house because the dog's just like.
Wow.
You got the shed though, don't you?
Yes, but we have some kid school issues happening in the morning right now. So.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So let me. Okay. Boys. Boys.
So look at that. That's not look at that. We have the beginnings of a decent test. Now this is like a true ride or die. So we're riding this into the sun.
Wow,
with no exit conditions.
Yeah. Decent win rate. All the.
Yeah. Tom has a good point. One thing about Mag 7 calendars is they're much more prone to negative Vega risk.
Really?
Now,
what kind of calendar?
This is Mag 7, but this is why.
I got you.
I would argue that's largely any stock because of call skew versus put skew. And so, but that's my personal opinion about that. That's all I've got to say about that. A couple things to note with this is interesting. I'm very much looking forward to putting this and some more tickers in a larger portfolio because I have a theory, and let me just speak to the club here for a second. I have a theory that there's probably a lot of edge in calendars and equities.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because of the call skew.
Listen,
what?
Because of the call skew. Oh, Troy. So I've had this. One of the things I'm most excited about. I've just got to say, sorry to interrupt, but like this has been the dream. There are times when calendars are a bad idea because of the Vega risk. To Tom's point, one of the ways you can look at that though is to only put on a calendar when there's enough juice to squeeze out of it, right? So if you're getting a really expensive calendar, why is that? Well, it's usually because the longs are much more expensive than the shorts, right? And so when you look at that, that's going to be a lot more expensive because you're paying a lot more money than you're getting a discount on the premium on the shorts. And when that happens, then you have a lot more Vega risk because there's only a little bit of room for those shorts to cook off before your longs get crushed. And so you can look at the short long ratio to do that kind of thing. Or you could take out earnings to Tom's point, you would get a list of the earnings dates that are that far out and don't trade around earnings or maybe not too close to earnings. There's different ways to do it, but I would look at short long ratio as a nice filter. And here's the point. Imagine, right, we keep adding all these tickers. Imagine you have 15, 20, 25 of the most liquid tickers to play on, and you're being very selective. Like you're only trading a double calendar when one of them are juiced in the right way, right?
Right. It's just, a little, and also Rusty just brought up earnings. To me, there's like two sets of opportunities, right? You have the opportunity for, let's say, double calendars in Microsoft, but then let's just go back to, not now, but go back to, weeklies and say, okay, let's test these for earnings and say, traditionally, I have not done a lot of long Vega calendars for earnings just because, but I've seen other people.
Because you'll die.
Pardon me?
Because you'll die. I mean, that's because you're long Vega after you'll die.
Because a lot of it is a lot is just to say, okay, when you look at conventionally, whether it be Tasty Trade, the graphs that were out there that didn't really take into account the volatility, you would look at an earnings calendar, let's say in Microsoft, single or double calendar before earnings, and you say, I don't really see how I could lose, right? Yeah. Because the expiration graph is taking all the premium out of the short, but it's leaving the long. And the question is, how much is the long going to come down? The long will come down too, right? And people say, well, the short will come down X amount of points. Well, there's a lot more, there's more Vega in the long. So, even if the long goes down 10 points, what that will do, it will shrink in your break evens and tank it in the middle. So I think, I'm really, I'd like to do some long Vega if it worked in the calendars. I don't, like Troy said, I don't have high expectations for doing mixed month long Vega for earnings, but I've seen people do some double calendars and it's worked, but I'm a little skeptical unless I saw the data or something that it could actually pull through. But
I mean, listen, the joy of, I mean, again, listen, this is probably a real dumb idea, but something as I lay in my bed at night, some of my best ideas come when I'm sleeping.
What?
Mine
being never stay in a hotel room with Troy.
Well,
hey, Troy, the back test you just did, you didn't like not play for earnings. You played through all the earnings. Right.
Yeah, I didn't care.
And it's
we don't even have exit conditions, guys. Like if you're going to get delted hard on this thing, like you're going to lose a lot of money, right? If it goes way past, like I'm sure this improves with a timed exit. Maybe you get out, in a 14-day trade. Maybe you get out a couple days before, right? Before you get too much Vega risk. Maybe you get out when all the short long has been crushed out. Maybe you get out on, like, there's so many ways to improve this test that you could do over the next few days, I think.
The idea of a product that vol ramps with call skew, in addition to products where vol ramps with put skew, but they're both calendars.
Yes.
You start getting into some synthetic, like double calendar ideas.
That's right.
Where like the put calendar, or maybe you even switch it where you do call calendars and SPX and put calendars. Like there's different ways you could play that and test that and synthesize that, where there can be some interesting outcomes.
I mean, what could be fun with this whole thing when we get enough tickers is in the same way that, Tom Sosnoff does this, right? Where he almost like a screener, where he looks at the different tickers and he's doing what he's selling, like short straddles and jade lizards and things based on what he's seeing on the different tickers. You could almost do that with like double calendars, but you could do it in a mechanical way based on just on not overfitting at all, but just some basic stuff like don't do it around earnings and when there's a vol crush, and perhaps using the short long just as so then you might have a bunch of different back tests in a portfolio in a similar kind of way that Tom's did, where you're being really selective. You say, I'm only going to put on double calendar when it's in a really good market for that, right? And maybe that means we add IV rank eventually. I don't know, but like there's a bunch of different things in my head, ways we could play this.
Can I ask you guys a question on this? When you look at Rusty and Troy, when you look at this, now again, there's no rails on this. This is just pure throw it out there. Does a max drawdown 11% seem almost decent in the fact that you have zero rails on this?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, again, this is the thing that you always have to take into account with the metrics. It's it's an 11% drawdown on 3% of your capital.
Well, 9%. You're doing it 3 times a day.
Well, that's true. I mean, but you think about the idea of saying, 11% drawdown on 9% of capital is pretty impressive, really, in a relationship of other trades going on.
Yeah, and really it's 18% because you could easily have 2 weeks in a row because it's a 14-day trade. And so you could have 18% of your capital tied up and have a giant downward move, and it's gonna be bad for everybody.
Okay.
Well, you could do. I mean, you could just say basically like
you could say one, but there's no reason to do that. Like the point is you want to layer these on, right?
Yeah, of course.
If the conditions are better, because you assume that from week to week, there's going to be some price movement.
Yeah. Although I will say this, that like with like Stalingrad, the SAC, the small account challenge stuff, I tested it. Like you can put it on in different. There are tests that basically you want the numbers to play out, but you can also limit the numbers, and it still works in relationship. And so this could be one of them, could be not one of them. I mean, obviously, this drastically makes the test worse by only keeping one on at a time. But something like this, especially when we get data that's like 3-day-a-week expirations, you could have situations where you have 8 of these on, or 9 of these on, and so you do want to try to. You're loading up on Vega each time. That's the thing that you have to take into account. So you do want to try to limit that.
Troy, since Matt's not here, can I do a what does he say at the end when he starts to look at the market? Does he say spoiler alert? What does Matt say? Or whatever Matt says, but I guess the jobs came in better than expected.
They did.
So it looks like the futures are, well, it's not, they're just back again. They're right at futures are right at 7,000, up 40 points, 0.6%. And so we'll see if I mean, we've been in such a, to me, for a good while here, like in the SPX, 6,800 to 7,000.
Oh man.
And you just feel like all this energy building up, and one way or the other, we're going to get something going. And we'll see, you still had the CPI on Friday, but this was supposedly a big number because it was supposed to come out Friday, but they had the government shutdown and it's delayed. So we'll see. I mean, 40 points on the other hand is not huge, right? On a vehicle like this. Yeah,
no, I mean, listen, one of the things I think is interesting with this as well is like Matt and I were talking about this on the show yesterday. One of the shows we did yesterday, like the number one winner right now in the small account challenge, very small data set, is a ratio double calendar where there's 2 calls for each put.
Interesting.
And it's put on during times when vol is spiked because put skew. And so that has worked well. And I do wonder, like even on days like today where we've been in these ranges, but markets go up, the idea of saying, reversing that for the equities, just ideas to test to say, because if there's call skew, reverse it where there's 2 puts for 1 call. Like go lighter on the skewed side and heavier on the unskewed side.
Yeah. And I like the way I forgot you were doing that in the small account challenge, but that is a great idea. And it's kind of contrarian taste, because you think about it, you wouldn't normally, right? In a lot of your double calendars, you might have a little filter that the vol's down.
Yeah.
Right, or something. But here you're saying with the ratio on a down day when the vol's up, but I'm going to go 2 for 1, and which makes sense is, one of the principles with trading is you want to be long Vega, long Delta, short Vega, short Delta. And that's what you're doing. You're saying, hey, the high vol, people normally say, Troy, do you really want to do that? But I'm going to lean extra long. So even though the vol's coming down, you're leaning pretty good Delta, right, Troy?
Yeah. I put one on discretionary in Monday, and to test it in SPX, because I've been doing it in Qs on the SAC. And so like I took it off for 25% profit in like 3 hours because it was a day where vol was pumping, but because it was a neutral day, the vol just gets pumped whether it's calls or puts. So you actually have 3, instead of 1 spread double calendar, you have 3 basically units, spread units, and so you're just getting more vol. And it's kind of the best of both worlds in my mind with SPX, because we usually go up.
Were you over like per contract, maybe 10 deltas, 15 long, or do you?
The way I did it discretionarily is because just the range, this was the market profile thing. I just put the range we were in.
But you were leaning long deltas when you put it in quite a bit.
Oh yeah. But it's not like a crazy amount of long deltas, like maybe 5.
Yeah, which is enough. 5 is enough to skin the cat. I mean,
Yeah. So listen, I'm excited. We've got lots of tests. The next 2 days is Microsoft Land. Research Warriors, Research Fam, Research Army, whatever, pick your poison. Send them, put them in the OO show. We'll look at them. But we said last night, we had hinted the small account challenge that there's some more stuff going to be coming on next Tuesday. I can promise you there are going to be some trades coming on next Tuesday in small account challenge here at Microsoft. So version 3 of the portfolio is going to move pretty fast. So
there's even room with that double counter we did today to just clean it up a little bit, add some. Just pick one entry time just to make the test a little bit cleaner, and then add some decent rails on that sucker, and let's see if we can make it hum.
That's right. And I love when Rusty gets passionate.
I love the double calendars, man.
Maybe small.
I have some dreams with them. Just throw them on everywhere.
Small account challenge needs some more occurrences, and I'm looking forward to diversifying, and that's one thing we're gonna get to do. So, listen.
Well, and the nice thing is because it's a lot cheaper in SPX too. It's perfect for SAC, right? It's perfect for the small account.
Like, these are made for.
It's made for it.
How would Randy Macho Man say? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's looking at a small amount coming up, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
If you pulled a Slim Jim out of your pocket at that moment, I would have been impressed.
Troy,
we're going to be adding a little bit of. Anyway, it's so much better in person. It sounds terrible online. I'm really good at it in person.
I mean, there was a lot of great characters in the world, even Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan to me, Macho Man was just him and Elizabeth, right? Was that Elizabeth his
Miss Elizabeth? Yeah.
Oh, but he was just spellbound. I loved him.
He was dedicated to her. He was, forget the divorce and the allegations of adultery and all that stuff. I'd like to think during that time frame, he was very faithful to Miss Elizabeth. So,
wow.
But more occurrences to come on. Looking for a little bit of validation, and so we're gonna be going for that. So, guys, Matt and Dan will be back on at 11. I have a birthday lunch for my mother. Any guesses where my family in Knoxville, Tennessee wants to go for a birthday lunch?
Crystals.
That hurts.
It was good.
I just tried to pick the grossest thing. I just tried to pick the grossest possible thing.
Meth trailer park.
Meth trailer.
Listen,
meth trailer park. Wow.
We're going to Cracker Barrel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Wait a minute. You're gonna slam on Crystals like Cracker Barrel? Okay, listen, I'm not here. Like they're both.
You're about to get beat.
They're
both just chains. They're neither of them.
I agree. I'm not going to beat you.
They're both chains.
Recognize where you live. Chuck E. Cheese is a great choice. If it was my kids, they would love that.
Are your kids 90-year-old men? Because that's what I think of when I think of Cracker Barrel.
My son, I've said this before, my son literally goes to Waffle House 3 times a week with various people. They call him the mayor of Waffle House when he walks in.
I like that.
Romeo, the last 10 times I've been to Olive Garden, I've been alone. I just go eat alone every once in a while at Olive Garden. When I'm there, I feel like family. Cheesecake Factory is a great choice. Love Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory, yeah.
Bucky's great brisket breakfast.
You should go to Connor's Steakhouse, man. Get yourself a ribeye. That's the best ribeye in town.
It's my mom's.
It's your mom. I missed mom.
My mom's birthday.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that makes sense why you're going to Cracker Barrel then.
That's exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, listen. On that note, Matt and Dan will be continuing on, and we'll go from there. So, Mr. Flawless, last comment, perfect comment to end on. Chuck E. Cheese CEO is in the Epstein files.
Oh,
you guys have a great